Well, hey, you guys, welcome. Get in here. I apologize for being late. I try to go live at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. Even though I'm on Mountain Time, I say Eastern time because everybody just goes according to Eastern time. And I'm late. I'm late, okay? It's wrong, it's disrespectful. I apologize. I told my supporters yesterday that I have people that support me monthly in order for me to continue doing this. I hold on, just hold on. Hold on a second. I've got this. Oh my gosh, you guys, so disorganized. Okay. Let's start over. Let's just start over. Let's just pretend that first, 3 minutes, 2 minutes hasn't happened. Welcome to Recap with CM, Conservative Mama, Rachel, that's me. I apologize for being late. I told my supporters yesterday that I got a new puppy, a rescue, it's a little rescue pup, about 7 months old, tiny. They believe that it's a Maltese and a poodle mix. He's adorable, and I'll post some pictures on Instagram. If you're not following me there, I'll throw some up on the gram. But it throws your life off a little bit. Like you just stop sleeping for a couple weeks. And I have a big dog, a Belgian Malinois, Dutch Shepherd, German Shepherd, that is like the guard dog, the protector of the house. And so we're trying to get them to be friends. And Ringo, the big guy, he's not too sure. He's not. And the little guy, he's getting a bath right now. So he's contained, but it's a lot to organize before you go live, and all these last minute things coming down as I'm trying to prep for this. Anyways, that's my life right now. That's my life. So hope you all are doing well. It's been quite a week. I'm finding now that Trump is going so fast and getting so much done in such a short amount of time. And it's just, it was a snail's pace with Biden, right? Although horrible stuff was enacted under his presidency, but it was, I was able to pace myself. I can't pace myself right now. I'm like, I slow down. And so it's just trying to keep up. So I might miss some things in this recap. I'm going to highlight kind of the major things that happened this week. First of all, I just want to congratulate all of you. I was worried. For a while there. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was scared. I was concerned, but we survived it. Like all of us survived it. And what did we survive? Well, we survived Trump's trade wars. It was intense. There were moments that I thought, I don't know how we're going to get through it. I found myself in the fetal position a few times, just holding on to hope that we would make it through the trade wars. I didn't know. I was crying for a good, I think it lasted for what, like 24 hours. It was just, I still am a little traumatized, to be honest. Like I'm not quite over it. When I reflect back on, I believe it was February 3rd. I just was like, I don't know if we're going to get through it. So congratulations to all of you. I mean, every American out there. I know you guys were concerned too. I know you had moments of doubt and fear and you probably couldn't eat or sleep, but we made it through. And way to go, America. Way to go. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. You made it through the trade wars. It was intense. Okay, so what's going on? Just a really quick thing. Rep Al Green, Democrat, has filed articles of impeachment. I don't even know if I have a video of this guy doing that. He said he's filing articles of impeachment against Trump for dastardly deeds. I was like, are we still using that phrase? Like, you guys are going to go with dastardly deeds? He said it's a grassroots movement. Other people are going to join him, but he's going for it. And to be honest, I'm kind of surprised it took them this long to file articles of impeachment. I thought the Democrats would file articles of impeachment like January 20th. So you guys are like behind, and nobody cares. Just so you guys know, like nobody cares. So that's happened. We survived the trade wars. I mentioned that. And we got Maxine Waters this morning outside of, I think it's the Department of Education, because D.O.G.E is now looking into the Department of Education, going to start doing a deep dive there. Since the Department of Education was formed, our test scores have plummeted. Our ranking worldwide has plummeted. They've used this department to push radical woke agenda, push communism, hate America, all of this crap into our schools. And instead of learning, reading, writing, math, it used to be reading, writing, arithmetic. They're like, you should hate yourself because you're white. You should want to mutilate your body because you're born in the wrong body. That's what they've been teaching our children. So if you have your kids in the public school system, that's probably what they're learning. I remember, and I say this was like 20 years ago when I was in college. And I remember sitting in it was an African studies class. And I remember being like, I think there were like one or two other people that were white. Everybody else was like, I was the minority in the class. And I remember being told like everything was my fault as I sat there. And this is before like woke diversity, all that stuff really like came into our schools. But I graduated from a big university, and I was sitting there listening to the professor. They were telling me everything's my fault. I was surrounded by everybody. It was like, okay. And I was thinking, wow, like I was raised to I really was raised to judge people on the content of their character. Like that's how my parents raised me. And not to see color, like at all. Like I just didn't. And it was shocking to me at the time. And I can't imagine how much it's advanced since I was in college, that agenda. I remember also like to get your stupid degree, you got to take these dumb gen ed courses. I also took a women's studies course. You guys can imagine what that was like. It was down with the patriarchy. I was supposed to hate men. All of these like women in there just ranting and raving about everything being the men's fault. And I was like, I like men. I have no problem. So it was all like, what? So I'm one of those people that actually survived a leftist college university and still came out a conservative. Because I was raised to debate. I'm one of 7 kids. We would all sit around the dinner table and people would take opposing views and we would debate and argue. And even my parents would take like a different stance than what I was raised with to prepare me to hear the garbage that I was going to hear as I was going to go out into the world. I think that's so important for parents to say, hey, you're taught this and you're going to learn this, but this is what they're going to tell you. And this is how they're going to argue it. And learning how to argue and to see the other side is critical. Don't raise your kid in a bubble. Don't do it. Don't do it. Of course, raise them with your values, but then also tell them what they're going to confront as they get launched into the world. And that's what my parents did. One of 7 kids, all of them Christian and all of them conservative. Many went to far leftist universities and we're not indoctrinated. So anyways, okay. Well, the main story this week, of course, is the absolute meltdown of the USAID, the USAID. It's basically an autonomous agency, you guys. that is part of our federal government, but it answers to no one. Like, there's no oversight for this. They're like, we're just going to take your money and we're going to use it how we want to use it. And it was interesting. I had a really good conversation with my husband this week because he's starting to like see a lot of this stuff. And he's like, so wait a minute. Americans have been struggling the last 4 years, like really struggling, paycheck to paycheck. We've dealt with inflation. We've dealt with high gas prices. We've dealt with just the cost of living just going up, mortgage rates increasing, like all of it, like hard, man. Like, it has not been easy. Maybe it's been easy for you, but not over here. Okay. Watching your savings just trickle away. Like, it's been rough. And then you hear that there are people that are taking the American taxpayer money and they're sending it to other countries to push woke ideologies. And I'm gonna play the video that I posted yesterday. But we're talking $2 million in sex changes for Guatemalans, $6 million to tourism in Egypt, $20 million for Sesame Street show in Iraq, a $4.5 million to prevent disinformation in Kazakhstan. The list, it keeps going. It's so egregious. It's so like, are you kidding me? While Americans are struggling, they're taking this money. And what we're finding, though, guys, is we're finding that a Politico giving this is supposed to be independent, it's not like public broadcasting service or anything like that. It's its own private company getting millions and millions of taxpayer money to then attack conservatives. Why are taxpayers paying for that? It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you are on. You're taxpayers. You should have a say in how it's being spent. And I bet you a lot of you, even on the left, don't want us to spend money on trans comic books in Peru. And the fact that we have somebody that's uncovering this and exposing it, Elon Musk, he should be applauded in this moment right now. He should be, and I'll tell you this, anybody that is hating it, you see these protesters, these people losing their minds. You see these congressmen and congresswomen going up and making their rants and oh my goodness, they're getting a cut. They're dirty. Every single person that's speaking out about the exposure of the waste and abuse that's taking place in our own government, anyone that's having a problem or issue with that, they're dirty. I can guarantee you they're dirty. They're making money. They're off of you. While you're struggling, this should outrage you. While you're struggling to get by, you've got people in our government that are taking money from you and putting it in some category, and we don't know where it's going. Some of this stuff, this DEI stuff, is going to countries that don't even kill people that are in the LGBTQ community. Okay, so that money that's supposedly going there to help and push that, it's not going to help and push that. It's going somewhere else. It's being wasted. It's a giant money laundering scheme is what it is. Let's just call it what it is. And this is crazy. And this is just the tip of the spear here. Like, I believe it's in every single part of our government. I believe it's everywhere. And the fact that it's being exposed and people are losing their minds just shows how corrupt our government has become and why you should advocate for a limited small government. Because when you have a limited small government, you can hold these people accountable. When it grows so big and so gigantic, it's hard to slay the monster. And we have let our government grow so incredibly big that it has turned into just a beast that we're wondering now if it can be like slashed back. Like, that's the goal. And we should be cheering on the people that are are willing to take on the beast. So I got to show you the latest. Oh, wait, first, really quick, we got to show you this. So Maxine Waters outside of the Department of Education harassing one of the security guards at D.O.G.E.
In the eye. Come on, hold your face up. Look at him. Let him see you. This is him. Look at it. What's your name? Tell us your name. Give me that ID again.
Showed you the ID. I showed it to you.
So what?
I showed you the ID.
You do what?
I showed you the ID.
Could you let me see the ID again? Huh?
No.
No? Will someone else ask him for the ID? Will you ask him for it? He won't let me see it again. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. They didn't see it.
Okay, look at this woman. Like, why are you so mad that we're like looking underneath the hood? Like, what's the problem? And if you see these people outraged, you should be like, wait a minute, why are you so upset about this? It's people that like, it's the Shakespearean, doth thou protest too much? The minute somebody starts losing their junk because somebody is looking into something, it just is immediate red flag to me. I'm like, wow, we've obviously got an issue here. It's like when you press somebody in an argument and they just completely expose, you're like, wow, so maybe we should look deeper into this because obviously I hit a button. Oh, we'll talk about the button later with AOC. Obviously I hit something that's so tender that you're reacting the way you're reacting. And let's look at Maxine Waters. Let's see here. Maxine Waters' net worth is estimated between $2 million and $10 million as of 2024. Now, these people make $100-something thousand a year, and it could be that she is worth possibly $10 million. I mean, anyone that's protesting too much, let's do a deep dive into them. We should audit Maxine. This is funny to me, and I laughed about this morning. So one of the people doing it, like one of the people like diving into it works for Elon Musk, and his one of his online accounts is Big Balls. Okay, so yeah, and here is our mainstream media just cannot deal with this.
So this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside D.O.G.E. And we looked into his background. And so we found, several notable things, Erin, one of which is that this individual has founded multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.Sexy LLC, which he established in 2021. He would have been around 16 years old. Now, this LLC controls dozens of web domains.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. So this is like, to me, this is a parody in itself. And I would love to play these two ladies. The shock of his online screen name. Guy's 19 years old. And like, and they're the epitome of two Karens sitting together, just like completely, like that's what they have. Instead of like, hey, let's look at the $4.5 million that we're sending to Kazakhstan to prevent disinformation. Let's talk about the people that are investigating and looking into the misuse of spending. It's funny. It's funny to me. It is like two Karens sitting around. And no offense to Karens. I know some Karens like Karens. And I actually play a character named Karen often that is highly intelligent. So, but I mean, come on, these two women, like, stop it. And that's all they have. That's all they have. Let's not look at the comic book for trans people in Peru. Let's talk about the guy's name. Elon Musk is guy. His name is it's Big Balls. It's terrible. I thought that was funny. All right, so here we go. Here's this. For joining today. As you know, we have identified some waste that's taking place at the USAID, and we're going to be making some cuts. So the first one, if I call it out, just know that this is no longer going to be funded, and you will not be working on this anymore. The $70,000 for production of a DEI musical in Ireland. If this is yours, it's being cut.
Oh, this is just so wrong. It's so wrong on so many levels. It's just...
Okay, the next one is a $2.5 million for electric vehicles for Vietnam. That is being cut as well.
Wow. Wow. You get this affects our lives too, okay? Yeah, I was gonna buy a new car for my girlfriend, and now I can't. I was gonna do it for my wife too.
This next one is a $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. If this is yours, it's being cut.
Oh, it's really happening. This is my worst nightmare.
Also, a $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru.
You can't cut that. You cannot cut that. Oh, this is criminal. This is criminal. You are not going to get away with this.
And we're no longer going to be funding $2 million for sex changes in LGBT activism in Colombia. That's going as well. And the $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt is also being cut.
I told you guys this was going to happen. I told you this was going to happen.
You're also not going to be sending any more meals to Al-Qaeda fighters in Syria.
There goes my third home.
We, of course, have more cuts that we will be making, and we will update you all shortly. So there you go. I mean, that's literally what I just took what I witnessed and enhanced it a little bit and threw it out there because I think it's very important for your independent voter, your unaffiliated. You know, the right sees it, right? The right doesn't want the waste. The left, they're radical, they're rabid, they don't care. They want to tear it all down. They want to burn it down. They want to, but the people in the middle, that's who we try to reach. That's who we need to start to see it. So creating stuff like this allows for someone to be like, what are you? There's no way that they spent that kind of money. And then they see something like that and they say, well, maybe they did. Oh, they did spend that money. This is insane. And then you start to see it. And I'm starting to see more and more people wake up, even that are not on the right side. They're like, wait a minute, that shouldn't have happened. This is totally abuse and waste taking place. And anybody defending it, I personally think is dirty. I think that they've got to cut a lot. So many of these people have made so much money in government when you're supposed to be a public servant, right? You're not supposed to get rich in government. And these people that have, 2 to 3 homes, millions of dollars, they're worth so much. Like, wait a minute, how did this happen? And when we start to peel back and start to look underneath the lid and people are losing it, I think that answers your question, right? I mean, to me. So also, the Eco Health Alliance, USAID has provided funding to Eco Health Alliance, which was involved in research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And if you guys remember, that's where they started playing around with gain of function. And before you know it, COVID hits the planet. And if you lost someone to COVID, you should be outraged that we are funding this junk. You should be outraged that we are funding these viruses, these experimental viruses that literally could wipe out the human population. And we all know who gave the go-ahead on that, right? Fauci, who's now been pardoned. Hopefully, I'm hoping that there could be a roundabout way to get that guy, a roundabout way to hold him accountable for what he has done. The amount of people that lost their lives from COVID, the amount of families that were torn apart, marriages that didn't make it through COVID, people that took their lives. When there's somebody that had a huge role in having COVID hit the planet, and then no accountability for it, it's so wrong. It's so wrong. So I'm hoping in some way he will be held accountable. Let's see here. yeah, meals for Al Qaeda. I mentioned that in the video. And there's no oversight. There was no oversight. A 2019 report indicated that 43% of USAID's awards achieved only half of the intended results, suggesting inefficiency in project execution. Also found this guy who is an African online saying we don't get the aid. Right? Oh, it's a humanitarian. We're trying to help these people. We're trying to send them aid. It never gets to the people that need it. Okay. It lines the pockets of the wealthy. So here's this.
Yes, I support the lady. Trump should cut everything completely. He shouldn't even make it 99, 90 whatever days. He should cut it completely. We don't need it. It rather goes to other individuals, but not us. Please, he should cut it completely.
Cut it completely. That's right. He's saying we don't get it. Cut it completely. And you got to do it. I would love to do a deep dive into the Clinton Foundation, right? I know that they're starting to do that. All of these people that are saying that they're helping people, and then you don't see any improvement in the alleged people that they're trying to help. So I would love to. I mean, I say expose it all, right? Bring it to light. Let everybody see it. Do a deep dive into the Department of Education. Do it at the Department of Defense, the State Department. Oh my goodness, the corruption, the waste that is taking place. And the people losing their minds, being told that work in our government, that you have to actually show up for your job. It's great. It's great. I love it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's like Christmas time for me because I'm a small government person. I minimize the role of government. Okay. And seeing all this being exposed when I knew it was taking place it's a reward. It's a reward. So, all right, let's see here. Next up. This one kind of threw me, and I think it threw a lot of people off this week. I don't know, maybe it didn't. Maybe you were expecting it. But Trump announced that America's just gonna take Gaza. We're gonna take Gaza. This is what he said.
The only reason the Palestinians want to go back to Gaza is they have no alternative. It's right now a demolition site. This is just a demolition site. Virtually every building is down. They're living under fallen concrete that's very dangerous and very precarious. They instead can occupy all of a beautiful area with homes and safety, and they can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
Okay, so when I heard that, I was like, what? He goes, we're gonna take Gaza and we're gonna own it. And I was like, what? I'm sorry, what? Back it up. Can you rewind? Because I didn't catch what? And I sat on it for a few days. I didn't really put out any kind of statement on it. I wanted to hear a lot of your thoughts on it. I do have some thoughts on it. I have shared a little bit deeper with my Patreon supporters, my ex subscribers. I go into a little bit more detail on what I feel. What I do have some questions. Who's funding it? Like, who funds this? Because, and then you could make the argument. Okay, so there's all sorts of different arguments here. Okay, how is this America first? Right? There's that argument. Like, how is us owning Gaza America first? Like we need help here, kind of a thing. And I understand that. I understand that argument. And then some would argue, well, the reason why it's America first is because it keeps the Middle East, that region, calm, right? So we don't have nuclear weapons being shot off and destroying humanity. Like, that's that keeps America safe. So there's that argument. There's the isolationist argument. Well, just if they want to shoot off rockets, they want to shoot off nuclear weapons, let them, focus on America. And then there's, that's that more isolationist viewpoint. And then you have the people that are like, no, we need to be everywhere. We need to, police the world. I'm America first. Okay. I'm focused on America. I all understand though, the desire to keep that region calm. It's never been calm. Okay. You go all the way back to the Bible. You go all the way back to, Isaac and Ishmael. You go back to Esau and you go back to, and you trace it all the way back. There's always been division there. And it's going to last until Christ's return. This is what's going to happen. And for me, then I, because I'm a Christian, I have to look at the biblical point of view in all of this. Like, what does scripture say? Now, Christianity's broad. Okay. There's people that are like, we just have the Bible for reference. It has nothing to do with you. There are people that believe that everything spoken in the Bible has already been fulfilled, and it's just a nice little book to read. Those are preterists. They believe that everything has already happened. I would love to argue with a preterist because I find tons of scripture that's not fulfilled, like tons of it. They believe that John's revelation in the book of Revelation is just a dream. And it's not real. It's not going to happen. There's no Armageddon. There's none of that stuff. That's what they believe. I don't believe that. Okay. Just so you guys know where I'm coming from. I believe that scripture is God's holy word. I believe that a ton of it has been fulfilled. Massive amounts of it. I mean, when you read the prophecies and of declaring Jesus coming in Isaiah thousands of years before he showed up on the planet, and Jesus literally like fulfilling every single prophetic word of what the Messiah would be and who he would be, and Jesus just fulfilling all of that. That's fulfilled prophecy. Jesus came and fulfilled it. But there's a lot of prophecy that's not fulfilled. And it's fun because I'll argue with people about it, and I'll say, well, you tell me where this happened. Like, you show me where in history this happened. And they can't. It's some like roundabout like argument. It didn't happen. Okay. But what is happening now in the Middle East is fascinating to me, just from a biblical perspective. When you look at Ezekiel 37, it talks about Israeli Jews coming back to that region, right? Them somehow coming back to that region. And then it says that there's a 2-state area there. 2 states will then live under one king and live in harmony. And that hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. So, and then it talks about that region of wasteland, Gaza, being inhabited, and it being inhabited in a peaceful manner. Like all the people there living in peace with no walls around them, in harmony. That hasn't happened. And then there's this part of me that starts to think, wait a minute, just hold on a second. If Trump was to actually succeed in calming that region down, building it up, having people then come back to that region and live in peaceful harmony, that would be fulfilling Ezekiel 38. And then after that, if you continue to read on in Ezekiel 38, war does break out after that. And Russia gets involved, Iran gets involved, Syria gets involved, I believe Libya gets involved. But none of that has not happened yet. So there's that side of me, just to give you guys an idea of where I'm coming from. There's that side of me is like, okay, are we approaching that? Are we getting close to that? Is that something that could actually happen? And I don't know. I do know that, and I do believe that God calls forth leaders, and he positions leaders to accomplish what he has spoken. He used Cyrus in the Bible, who wasn't even a Christian. He wasn't a believer. He will use leaders to fulfill what he has spoken. He's done it time and time again. And what we have to do right now is just watch this thing play out. I did find it interesting. I read an article out of the Telegraph in UK talking that this idea has actually been in play for a couple of years. It was Jared Kushner is behind it, and I believe Steve Witkoff, who is good friends with Trump. This has been something that's been tossed around. It's been thought about for a while now. And then when Trump actually stated it this week, I think everybody was taken off guard. Everybody was like, what? And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's where I'm at in it. So I'm sure the comments are going off right now. That's not the real Israel. That's fake Israel. We're Israel. I mean, I had someone tell me America was Israel this week. So do what you want with it. But as you start to see this stuff fulfilled, maybe think, okay, maybe this word here, this Bible here is living and active. Huh? Maybe I don't know. There might be some of it that's still going to come into play. And we could go on. And then after those countries that I named rise up against the people, God intervenes. He intervenes in I think it's hailstorms or something like that saves the people in that region from being completely destroyed. And then you have another battle that is in Zechariah 14, where all nations rise up against Jerusalem, specifically Jerusalem. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen all nations of the world. Every single nation of the world rise up and go after Jerusalem. And then after that, God intervenes in that battle and Christ descends onto the Mount of Olives. That has not happened. Well, Rachel, you're just crazy. You're just crazy. I'm just reading the Bible. I believe what God says. He's worked in my life. He's done a work in my life. He's changed me. He's transformed me. He's performed miracles in my life. He's real. And God's word is real. And that's what I got to say about that. So I find it really interesting to watch this whole thing unfold. And we'll be talking more about it. I do dive more into it with my supporters, my subscribers. We talk more about it. Really quick, before we wrap this thing up and go into a couple other things, I want to give a shout out to Patriot Protect. I partnered with these guys. What they basically do is, if you just want more privacy in your life, with AI technology just rapidly increasing, people able to look you up, find your address, find where you live, find what you had for breakfast. Everything's out there. And there's a lot of people that don't want everything out there. I don't want you to know everything about me. I want some privacy. Well, Patriot Protect, they go in and they basically clean the internet of you and your existence on there. And they do it for a short cost every single month. It's not a lot. And you can basically, I think it's $5 a month. There you go. You can enter the code word Momma for an additional 15% off. And it's patriot-protect.com/conservative Momma. They're strong conservatives. They have a very similar view on the world that I do. And I really appreciate what they're doing just to promote privacy for your everyday American. We need privacy back. I don't know about you guys, but I like my privacy. I do. And so go check them out, support them, and and let them know that I sent you there. Momma is the code word for 15% off. It's funny though. Like I can with me when I go out, like nobody recognizes me because usually I have like a wig on or I have some kind of, I just get weird looks. Like if somebody happens to be conservative, they'll kind of go like this. This is the face I get. Like they don't. And that's it. So I'm good with that. I like it that way. So, but Patriot Protect can give you privacy as well, which is important. Okay. This was my favorite of the week, to be honest with you. Trump signed an executive order yesterday to keep men out of women's sports. And man, this has been a battle, you guys. It has been such a battle. I mean, just a year ago, they were telling us that men could have babies. Like, it's just been such a backwards, upside down world that we've been living in. And it just feels like sanity is returning to America right now. And I'm loving it. I really am loving it. I'm like, thank you. Can we protect the women? Can we protect the women? Like, what? It's just like the left does not like women. They don't like women, and they don't like women so much that they can't even define what a woman is. So they would love to see the eradication of women's sports, and that's what they've been championing. They want men playing against women. And I don't know about you guys, but my girls play volleyball, right? And later, like when they're on the court and everything like that, like a guy's team will then show up. And if you watch men play volleyball and then you watch women play volleyball, they're not, it's not the same sport. It's not even the same sport. The speed at which these men are hitting the volleyball, it could literally kill a woman. It could literally, like, permanent brain damage. And the fact that the left's like, yeah, put the men in there. Well, let's do it. It's a vile hatred for women is how I view it. And it was so awesome to see Trump come in and sign this executive order. But let's just talk about the absurdity really quick, because I feel like I shared this on X just I think yesterday or the day before. But this is where we were at just a couple years ago.
Thank you so much for joining this press conference today. My name is Christina Withersby, and I represent the Let Them Run campaign. Let's get started. Most of you are sadly unaware that there is a population of cheetahs out there that now identify as horses. And I would like to proudly announce today that these cheetahs, who are now horses, have requested to compete against horses in American horse racing. Yes, traditionally speaking, horses do top out about 55 miles per hour, while cheetahs can top out right around 75 miles an hour. But these cheetahs now identify as horses and are horses. So horses now top out around 75 miles per hour. And these now horses would like to have a seat at the table, and I think they're entitled to that. And I would just like to state that the Biden administration is in full support of the Let Them Run campaign, as well as Megan Rapinoe. Megan, would you like to say a few words? Come on up. Oh yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm in complete support of cheetahs, which are now horses. They're horses, okay? Competing in horse racing. I don't know why anyone would even have an issue with the Let Them Run campaign. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know how anyone could have a problem with this. You know, I don't know. Let them run. Like, let them run, right? Just let them run. Let them run. I mean, who is opposed to running? Whoever is opposed to the Let Them Run campaign, I'm going to say it. If you're opposed to the Let Them Run campaign, then you're racist. You're racist. Okay? That's all I got. Thank you, Megan. Thank you so much. Oh, and I would also like to note that the cheetahs that are now horses have requested that no jockeys ride on their backs during the races that they compete in, because that would impair and hamper their performance. Okay? Any questions?
And that's where we were at, guys. And that's not even an exaggeration. I just put it into the animal world. I mean, it's so absurd what we were under the Biden administration. It's so It's vile, it's evil, it's a complete attack on women. And they always try to phrase it like, the Let Them Run campaign, right? They just want to run. Why would anybody want to stop them from running? What's wrong? Do you not like running? It's this manipulation, it's the twisting. And we dealt with it for so long. And I just feel like, I feel like it's freedom's back. Right? Girls have a say now in their sports. Thank goodness. And so it thrilled me to see Trump today signing this executive order. I think I might have just actually booted it. Did I? No, here we go.
Watch what I do, and then I'm going to give you some pens, okay? You ready? What a nice picture this is, huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job. Wait, let me press that. I want to make this a really good signature because this is a big one, right? Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
God bless you, Mr. President.
I just love it. It keep men out of women's sports. Like it's that simple. It's that simple. So awesome. I knew some of the women that were there. What an incredible moment. So yeah, that was my highlight. I just loved it, especially if you have girls that play sports. It's like all of my kids are in sports. I'm a big fan of sports. I think it's really healthy for children to be very physically active, and sports just teach you so much. I was a competitive figure skater as a kid, actually. And it teaches you endurance. It teaches you perseverance. It teaches you competition. It teaches you, it really does do so much for just the individual. I think it's extremely healthy. And my parents were always like, hey, you keep your kids busy, you keep them out of trouble, right? Keep them busy. They don't have time to get into other stuff. Sorry, you got practice in the morning. You got to be home. You got to get a good night's sleep. That's just how it should be. And we should have a women's sports and we should have men's sports, and we should champion both of them. And we shouldn't have men playing in women's sports. It's just that simple. And we're returning to common sense, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the pendulum swing right now, you guys. And I'm just soaking up every single minute. So, all right, to wrap it up, this was at the top of the week, actually. Let's see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find the original video. And I don't know if I uploaded it, but the original, okay, yeah, I got it. The original was AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, said that Elon Musk was unintelligent. So here she is. Let's just listen to her for a second.
Is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires I have ever met or seen or witnessed. Which, you can probably even glean that from watching these people on TV. Anyways, all of that is to say is that they don't do their homework. Clearly, like, they're putting 19-year-olds in at the Treasury. This dude is not smart. And the danger in the lack of intelligence and the lack of expertise that Elon has. This guy is one of the most morally vacant, but also just least knowledgeable about these systems that we really know of. But the point is that what that means is that they're going to hit a button. Inevitably, they are going to hit a button and things can go sideways.
Okay, so because I had to show that because people are like, you edited it. I'll show the full video. Well, that was the full video. Okay, that's it. That's one of the Democrat Party's front runners in leading the Democrat Party. Seriously, I don't even know how she got elected. I don't. Like, for real, I don't understand how it happened, but she did. She got elected. So of course I saw that and I was like, is this real? Did she just call a guy that's relanding rockets, like a rocket scientist, literally? the rescuing people from outer space. She just called him unintelligent. Like, did that just happen? And I was like, no. And I had to watch it, and I did. And so this inspired this. Like, Musk is this dude that is like the most dumbest of all billionaires I've ever seen.
This dude is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires I have ever met or seen.
Like, he's so dumb. Like, he's really, really stupid.
Anyways, all of that is to say is that they don't do their homework. Clearly, like
I said, he like doesn't do his homework. They'll give him homework and he doesn't even do it.
And the danger in the lack of intelligence and the lack of expertise.
The lack of his intelligence is not something that we should ignore.
Least knowledgeable about these systems that we really know.
And really, we know that he is the least knowledgeable of all the people that have knowledge.
What that means is that they're going to hit a button, inevitably. They are going to hit a button and things can go sideways.
They have this like little button, and when they hit the button, like it all goes bad. Like, it really, really, like, I'm not even like kidding how bad it is when they hit the button. Seriously, button. I can't button. They hit a button. I don't know how she does it. She did she did a number on the button. The button. I can't. Stop saying button. Oh my gosh, it's driving me nuts. That's who they have. So I think that they're or Maxine Waters. They could throw Maxine out there in the next go around. I heard someone say that the Democrat Party is doing so bad right now they could go the way of the Whig Party. Like, you could literally see it just dissolve. They got David Hogg. David Hogg is now their vice. He's like the vice chair of the Democrat Party. Got elected this last week. That also happened. And it was funny because my husband was like, is that satire? He's like, it's not real. He's like, did they really elect him? And I was like, no, like it really yes, that's their guy. And he goes, no. And I said, yes, it is. That's their guy. That's who they, I don't know. I don't know what's happening to them. I'm enjoying it though. I don't mind if they completely dissolve. I don't mind. Go for it. They've destroyed our nation, and it's time. We're like finally like rebuilding right now. We're trying to figure it out, like put the pieces that they shattered into zillions back together. So I think they're in panic mode, and I love to see it. I love to see it. So I'm a native New Yorker, and the fact people of New York voted for this person is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And where does she go? Because I was thinking about AOC earlier. I was thinking, like, I don't think she has the popularity to run for Senate. Maybe all of New York would vote for her. I don't know. I mean, you got Northern New York. There's a lot of conservatives up there. It's the New York City that just, it's the same with Colorado, and you got Denver and Boulder, and it's just they take the state. So I don't know if she's popular enough to take New York altogether. I don't know. New York, you guys actually are like, I am my biggest following is New York. So let me know. Is she popular like across the board there, or is just where she was her house district? Because I have no idea how this happened, honestly. And she's now the spokesperson. And that wasn't the first clip I showed you. That was like for real, just her talking. All right. What's going on? I'll read some of your comments. I ended a little earlier. Last time I went a little long. I'm going to pick up the main stories because it's just too much to dive into all the little tiny stuff and we get lost in the weeds with it. An election ballot counting should be televised so they cannot cheat. Yes. And I believe it was Scott Pressler said, hey, there's a ton of rampant voter fraud. Could we have like a Department of Voter Efficiency take place where we can really do a deep dive on our voting machines, the ballots, how it all operates, that would be awesome. So I don't know, we could see something like that formed. The more we see the corruption start to just be exposed, there might be actually more support for, hey, what is happening with our voting? Is it fair? Is it just? Is there corruption taking place? Let's do a deep dive on it. And I'm sure we would not be disappointed in finding the vast amount of corruption in our voting. Kamala won New York by only 5%. Wow. So I don't think AOC then could take a Senate seat in New York then right now. So she's kind of stuck in the House. And usually if she wants to go further, you're going to have to jump to the Senate and then run for something bigger. Unless she got tapped for a VP spot, which you could see. I mean, I don't know. 100 billion missing according to Ukraine. Ukraine is a whole other thing. And I actually said this earlier this week when I was in conversation about as all this stuff, this misuse and abuse of spending is taking place. We definitely need to do a deep dive into Ukraine and where the money went. We're talking billions and billions and billions of dollars. Where is that money? How was it spent? A full audit should be done. A lady that does my hair, she's actually from Bosnia, and her husband is Eastern European, and they were talking, like, this was the very start of the Ukraine, the whole war, and they were saying that a lot of the weapons that were being sent were then being sold on like black markets and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know if that's true, like, because we were kind of just barely into it. But I was hearing them talking like the money that we're sending is not going there. And I was like, really? And they were like, all of this information they were giving me. And now I'm like, we should really do a deep audit on where the money went. And that would be great. I would love to see that, because I think a lot of, a lot of people, oligarchs, people in government, corrupt government people got a lot of money. And they voted to continue the funding because they were getting money. They were getting cuts. So I say audit everybody, man. I'm hearing they're going to like maybe audit the IRS, which would be fabulous. Let's do it. What else? What do you guys got here? All right, let me see. All right, lots of comments here. Why did Zelensky just report this? True. Like what did he say? He said 100 billion is missing. Like, that's insane, you guys. Yeah, it is. It's so corrupt. It's so bad. And again, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Like corruption is corruption. And if they're taking your money, this is your money. The government doesn't have its own like little operation where they're making something and they're creating their own they're taking your money. They're taking your kids' money. They're taking your grandkids' money. They're taking your future grandkids' money, and they're spending it. They're laundering it, and there needs to be accountability. Everyone should be championing what is happening right now. Every single person. If you love this country, if you love America, and you want a future for your kids and your grandkids, you should be like, yes, we need to know where the money's going. We need to know how it's being spent. We need to balance our budget. Like, that's what we need to do. A lot of that money went to help small businesses over there stay alive while businesses were closing over here. Interesting. And with COVID, I mean, think about all the people that had to shut their businesses. I know people that lost their businesses, and we funded the Echo Health Alliance, which funded the Wuhan Institute. Like, it's just it's all connected. All right, you guys. All right, you guys. Well, I think that's it. I think that's a wrap. We ended in an hour. Which is, and I started late because of the puppy. But wish any puppy advice. If you guys have puppies, if it's the sleeping thing for me, he was up a lot last night, and I want to crate train. Like, I'm very much about a trained dog. I think it's important to have a trained dog. If you're going to get a dog, train your dog. And our Belgian Malinois, Dutch Shepherd, German Shepherd, he's phenomenal. Like, he's highly trained. He's so trained, and I absolutely love it. But he sleeps, like he sleeps in his crate if he wants to, but he has full domain to do whatever he wants. But this little guy, I think at the time, right now, he should be in his crate contained because he's new. And so but he doesn't like that. So I'm going to try to figure out how to make it more comfortable for him. I don't know. So if you have any advice, drop it in the comments. I will read it. If you'd like to support me, you guys, please do. You keep me going. You pay for all my wigs. To my supporters out there, you do. You pay for my wigs. You pay for this whole thing to continue. I'm a solo organization here. I run solo. I don't have support from anybody in the conservative. It's just me. It's just me. And this has grown from a grassroots effort. I've never had like a big media hit. Nothing like that. It's just me. Growing, I feel like I'm like the little engine that could just keep going or keep swimming, just keep swimming through the censorship, through the demonetization, through the banning, all of it. I just keep swimming unless God directs me to do something else. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, if there's something else that you want me to do, I'll do it. But if you want me to keep creating the satire, creating parody, doing commentary, then I will. But I need support. So if you'd like to support me, you can go to my Patreon support, throw $1, $2, $3 there a month. It keeps me going. You can also subscribe on X or Facebook. I do have Facebook supporters over there as well. Oh, I slept next to my puppy's crate, holding his paw until he fell asleep. I think that wasn't meant to be asleep. He was the best. Oh my gosh, Maria, you sound like a little angel. You sound like the sweetest person. I slept next to my puppy's crate. Oh, well, that's next level. I could do that. That's possibility. We'll see how it goes tonight. I mean, in the daytime, he's great. It's like, I love it. It's just nighttime and that separation, which of course is normal. But yeah, so that's kind of what my weekends cut out to be. Taking care of the puppy, got some volleyball games going too. And that's about it. So, God bless you all. I'm thankful for you. I appreciate you. I really do. I don't take the shares for granted when you guys share my videos, when you share tweets or all of it. Like I really am thankful and blessed to have you guys and your support. And it really means a lot and it keeps me going. So thank you. Thank you. Have a blessed weekend. Go spend time with the people you love. And we'll see you all next week. Talk soon. Bye, guys.